Yeah, so let's begin. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining in to this small talk. A lot of people will be tuning in during that time. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. We're going to be bringing on stage with us right now François and Joco. But before we begin and attack the presentation, I'll just let you guys present yourselves and speak a little bit about your roles at SwissBorg and who you are. Maybe Joco first, because I think you'll probably have the most questions later on.
Yeah, sure. Hi, guys. My name is Joco. I'm a product manager here at SwissBorg for around 2 years now. And previously, I've been working, for example, on the Hero program. So have kind of an experience with loyalty stuff also here at SwissBorg. And I will be speaking about what we learned from that. And now I will be focusing more on the experience side, like the broader experience of the SwissBorg app. And happy to be here. I give the word to François.
Thanks so much. So can you hear me well?
Yeah.
Amazing. I'm super happy to be with you today. Potentially some of you already know me a bit, so I'm way less visible than Cyrus, Anto, Alex, but I'm one of the executive of SwissBorg and I take care of product. I started working at SwissBorg already, I think almost 4 years ago, but initially within the engineering team. And I switched to a product a couple of months ago. And I essentially supervise the product managers, the designers, and yeah, I connect that team with the rest of the teams, the engineering team, the executive. And I share a bit the higher context today, but I let Yotso make most of the presentation.
Cool. Thank you very, very much. All right. So I think with that said, we can probably get started into the press. And quick reminder, if you have any questions, write them into one of the channels and we'll go through everything at the end of the presentation. I think, François, the floor is yours now to begin with.
I think so. I think you can move to the next slide, or I'm not seeing the right stuff. Yeah, amazing. So look, today it's essentially going to be about what has been teased during the last powwow and on X recently. So it's really essentially focusing more on the loyalty program, and at the core of our revamped loyalty program that Yotso is going to present, obviously we'll sit Borg, and I just wanted to restate that what we are doing now and with this around Borg, that's one of many initiatives that we are having at the moment around Borg. And we really want to connect the loyalty program, but also other part of the application that we have, the rest of the ecosystem, the off-chain, on-chain world. So we just wanted to mention that what we are going to discuss today is really one still fundamental aspect of a broader initiative that we have around our DEAR token. So on those good words, I won't speak too much about that. If some of you guys have more questions about the broader context, I might answer some of the questions later. But I want to keep as much time as possible to focus on what is the most relevant today is our loyalty program and what Yotso worked on in the last few weeks. So Yotso, the floor is yours.
Cool, thank you. By the way, keep the questions going because we will respond them after this short presentation. I prepared something really short, straight to the point. So I'll be going through that. I will be going through that right now. And then after we can do a little bit of Q&A. So as François mentioned, we just want to embrace the current situation, what we have. Like we have a lot of programs, some not even visible in the app, looking at Hero program. And moreover, it's really hard sometimes to connect the dots with each of the programs. So the whole picture is really complex, fragmented, and we can all agree that the impact on the Borg was very limited. And we're always aiming to have a positive impact on the Borg because obviously it has a positive impact on the community on a larger scale. Now, speaking about the Hero program, as I mentioned at the beginning, I was working on it a lot when we launched it. And our goal with that, as we always said, was to learn how to do stuff right. But obviously, in order to learn, first you need to learn what does not work too. And we learned that it was too complex. Learning about your points took too long. The rewards were unpredictable, and in general, it was just inconvenient. But it provided us a lot of learning opportunities, and your feedback was super valuable. So we listened, and now we designed a new, fresh approach to resolve the challenges that we identified together. We can go to the next slide. Now, I'm here to present a little bit an in-depth view to the upcoming Borger Rank. Right now, we are still in kind of preparation of the concept, so we do not have an ETA yet. But once we have it, obviously, we will let you guys know. But as you can see, we already have some designs. The concept is shaping up pretty nicely. And if I need to summarize it in a simple way, it's a dynamic ranking system, and we want to build it with you. It's really important with this program that we want to listen to you. We want to have your say in what we are doing, and we are going to do that with votings. So we will consider your vote whenever we come to kind of an intersection with the program, and try to incorporate as many ideas as possible to shape the concept on the right way. Now, the logic behind the Borger Rank program is something that is super dynamic, and something that rewards the community members in a fair and simple and engaging way. And the first version will be extremely simple, and it will be focused around the Borg. Benjy, you can play the video maybe. I can just walk you through how we have it planned out. So it will be kind of an opt-in-based system. All of you who hold Borg will see this reveal option. You could now reveal your rank. We will explain how does it work, and you will be able to see it. You will be ranked against other members who participate, and based on this, you will be assigned to these cohorts, these groups, and based on that, you will be determined the eligibility to certain deals, which are still to be discussed, to be decided. Now, we can go to the next slide, because then I will give a little bit more details on how the whole structure works. We have a nice visual. Yes. So as you can see, we will calculate your, based on your Borg amount, Borg holdings, and your premium tier, your Borger rank, and your Borger score. And using all that information, you will be assigned to these clusters, which are top 1%, top 10%, top 25%, etc. We will have these groups. Now, based on these groups, then, we will utilize it to reward everyone who participates in the concept. So it's extremely simple, and it's super dynamic. So if someone, moves up on the ladder, others will be impacted as well. So it's kind of a continuous competition. But also we want to value those that are super loyal, participating in the premium. So we connected the dots already with these two programs somewhat from the get-go. And we have some potential reward ideas, but feel free to leave some ideas that would motivate you most to participate, or if you see anything that is concerning in the chat, we are going to review that later. But what we are thinking about essentially is considering the Borger rank in as many aspects of the SwissBorg experience as possible. For example, how we provide, what kind of exclusive access we provide, how early we provide the access, even specific rewards, status badges, something you could share on social media, your achievements. And even if we do a partnership, maybe we will utilize the Borger rank on those perks as well. think it's straightforward, but just write down the question if something is confusing, and I will come back to it later. We can go to the next slide. Thanks, Benjy. Now we want to be super transparent with this. We know that creating a perfect one-size-fits-all program that is amazing and serves everyone from the get-go is impossible. So we just want to acknowledge that. But building on that, we want to create something that is extremely simple and sets the foundation that we can then extend together. And this is how it's going to happen. This is our kind of completely transparent approach. We draw down these axes. We have one axis that shows how complex the rules are, and we have another one which considers how much wealth focused is the program and how much is it about engaging with the app simply. Now, at the beginning, we are going to focus on the core Borg token holders. So we just acknowledge that, embrace it. This is where we start, but it's going to be super simple. But then we're going to do votings, and we are going to consider all those voting results to move the concept anywhere in the picture, in the visual, as you can see. Like, we have all the possible ways to move it, and we are going to listen to you, so there will be votings continuously. I think we can go to the last slide, because it's then about the first voting. So even before we launch the program, we want to ask your opinion. We have 2 scoring logics as an idea, which we narrowed down all the possible scenarios that we looked into. And essentially, it goes down to how much power we provide to the premium tier. And we are going to share a quick survey on socials tomorrow. And we have next week as a deadline. So you will be able to access it. And then based on the results of that survey, we are going to consider the end results and the learnings. You will have a chance to provide qualitative, like open-ended feedback as well, if you would like. And we are going to consider it when we finalize the concept. And I will just stop talking now and maybe ask Benjy to highlight some questions that were mentioned, or the biggest ones.
Yes. So first of all, thank you for the presentation. It was great. I think I'm probably still sharing my screen, but I think that's fine. We had a lot of questions while you were speaking, and also a little debate and discussion, which is interesting. So I think we can start from the very beginning. And the first one was, will there be any rewards for the participants from the spooky season where no official communications were done? We got informed by Cyrus for the levels during the powwow to buy some Borg. So many climbed to SwissBorg and received no rewards. Looking to the rules, where were perks and other stuff promised? Okay, so the question is, there was sometime during the right now, between today and when the hero score was kind of abandoned-ish, quote unquote, where no communications were given by SwissBorg, but in the powwow, Cyrus still mentioned that if you had enough Borg, then you would be in the highest tiers, and if you were in the lowest tiers, then that was okay, but you should probably try to get to the highest tiers. Question is there any rewards for people who did well during that time, between now and when the hero score was stopped communicated upon?
Right now, the take is that we want to start fresh, but that does not mean that we are not gonna look into this aspect. But that being said, the hero program was designed to continuously provide some level of access, and I know that there were opportunities for the like alpha opportunities and so on. So it's kind of a mixture on how we are going to deal with it. Not yet decided, so I cannot really confirm anything.
Cool. The second question is one that's probably for the both of us. Are there plans to integrate the Guardians of the Borg into the app with the new Borger ranking system?
I mean, I would love that. So that's definitely in my mind. But we will not start with that for sure to keep things simple and move faster. Benjy, would you like it?
Yeah, I think it's. I think the Guardians in the app is definitely something that we need to look forward to. With the new Borger ranking system, this is an ongoing debate between the Guardians team, which is me, and Yotsu's team, which is loyalty. We're still figuring out how to do it in the best way. That's still quite simple because if you look at the voicing power, it's quite easy to understand it. I like that. So it's a little bit of an internal debate, but you tell us. I think it's Steve on my screen. It's the username is cut, but you tell us. Would you like to see that happening? Um, and then the third question is, won't this program buy more Borg on platform and hold them there, make it again more impossible to list Borg on other exchanges like Binance and Co?
Maybe I can answer this one. That's true if we only consider all the utilities that we want to add in app and within the let's say within the boundaries of the application that we have. But you may be aware that we are also investigating avenues to reach the token to a larger ecosystem and embrace on-chain utilities. So doing that doesn't mean that we are not doing the other. So as I said, the focus on Borg has many legs, and this one is one of the main one where we want to involve the community. But there are also many other initiatives ongoing also to broaden the scope and the access and the utilities of Borg.
Perfect, cool. After that, we have what is the feeling about this scheme for the UK? I think
Can I
that
answer this one as well?
nice.
Yeah, it's it's being discussed at the moment with our legal team. We haven't settled exactly on a solution, on agreement, but definitely there are challenges to address so that we could offer exactly the same program to UK users. But we are looking for solutions to keep that. But it's true that this is one of the challenges that we have to address at the moment.
I guess they'll have some special communications about if yes or no they'll be able to participate in
Yes,
due time.
for sure.
We have a suggestion here. Don't give people better rankings if they're buying more Borg. Do it, for example, as a percentage of the portfolio. So the ratio of Borg that you own would be also considered in the scoring system, which is something I think is up for debate. I replied that I think it's tricky because it could also incentivize people to not hold their quote main crypto on SwissBorg, but instead have it on Binance or another platform and just hold Borg on SwissBorg to have a good rank. But maybe there's a nice ratio to do here. I don't know, Yotso, what do you think?
We actually consider this. I know other platforms use it as well. Sounds fair at the beginning, but if you are considering also the diversification of the portfolio, it could be kind of a mixed signal here to just sorry, I was just mistaken that the stream was closed. So it was kind of a weird suggestion to hold 100% of your AUM in Borg. It's something that we considered, but I'm not necessarily a big fan of it.
I think I agree with that. Yeah. After that, we have a question about one of the slides where it says exclusive access slash specific rewards. What's the main difference with Pegasus exclusive deal access, for example?
With the Pegasus, we want to keep this separate, as that's another initiative that we are doing. But in terms of Genesis, for example, this is already considered somewhat, since the premium will definitely boost your points, therefore your rank. So we will consider a nice balance between what we have as kind of a legacy. We need to keep in mind, but also to keep the newcomers and this new system engaging enough.
Nice. Yeah, I think it's going to be a tricky line to walk where we have different cohorts and different systems that give out rewards that are at the end of the day on some similar programs. It will be nice to have it all streamlined at some points. One of the questions here is, does only Borg in premium and the main account count as in the scoring system? Do the Borg owned in the thematics count, for example?
We do not have a definitive answer just today. We are still crunching the data. But the current idea is, and again, this is not yet set in stone, current idea is that since the thematic by definition means that you hold also the tokens, we would consider those Borg amounts as well into your score.
Nice. Good to know. Pretty easy answer. I think so. This is. What about Borg outside of the app? For example, I feed a liquidity pool of Borg /WXDAI on the Gnosis blockchain, and I can imagine with the next DeFi space we'll have some Borg on the Solana blockchain. Are we able to register personal wallets for that? And in this way, our Borg will be able to count in our score. Tricky question here.
I mean, we can all agree that it would require a much more complex resolution. So definitely not be part of the first iteration. Maybe later.
Perfect. Pierre is asking, by definition, early Borgers got way more Borg than new users. So what will push them to keep or increase the amount of Borg in their wallets? The early Borgers, I mean.
That's going to be a super interesting aspect of the competition, I believe. And I just don't know, to be honest, what's going to happen. I mean, I have some assumptions, but really eager to see how it's going to unfold. As the whole thing is dynamic, the competition will be happening all over the ranking ladder. So not just in the middle section, but also in the top. And because of that, I think it will be an interesting mechanism.
Yeah. Now we have a little bit more of a, let's call it a pessimistic comment here. Marianne is saying, I'm not happy with the new rewarding idea. Again, gamifying things, again, competition, again, points with complex rules, and again, something which cannot hold engagement. I'm Genesis, and according to what you said, as I didn't participate, I get nothing. Please pitch your idea to a financial individual with 100K or more on the app and who doesn't have time to play games. That's harsh. But that's what we're here for. So do you want to try and tackle it?
Yeah, for sure. So when we were considering the learnings from the Hero program, that's exactly was one of the key messages that we heard. If you consider a game, I can actually provide you a big contrast. Just imagine that you have like a computer, like a very interesting, exciting computer game, or you have something on your PlayStation, and then you have chess. Both of them are games, but if you consider the branding behind those and how we approach those two games, this is very different. And what we learned from the feedbacks is that if we were to implement something into the app, the community would prefer something more serious, something that is less game-like, and more towards this. If I keep going on the analogy, towards a chess game instead of a computer or a PlayStation game. And this is exactly what we aim to do here, to not overly complicate, not introduce something that require complete and continuous attention. Something that is simple, transparent, and available when you need it. Other than that, we don't want you to quote unquote play games with this new program. But if you still feel that this concept is feels like a game that you would not have time to deal with, I would love to see your reasoning. And again, we will have the survey tomorrow, so please chip in there, and we will be reading all the answers.
Nice. We have two more questions that are a little bit similar. One says, what about the premium that's locked at a lower amount of Borg because of the Suniverse rewards? Is the original amount taken into account for or the discounted one? And someone else asks if the Borg blocked by the premium will count or not.
So the stake Borg for the premium will count. This is our plan. But again, the exact point collection strategy is the topic of the first voting. So when you will see the survey, you will see the exact ideas that we have. So if you make more sense, and you will have your chance to select which one is better for you.
Yeah, and I think with that we've done all of the questions that were here actually. So I think that it's interesting. We see that there are a lot of concerns about how this scoring system will be calculated, how it's going to be made, and how people will be able to grind to the top. It's also a little bit interesting to see that there is that conflict where people want something that's super easy, but at the same time that encompasses everything, where you're able to be at the top of the leaderboard because of your involvement and your activity, not only because of your AUM, but at the same time it has to be super easy and understandable. These two things to me are difficult to bring together. So I'm interested to see the feedback that we're going to have on the survey when they're going to have to answer the question, how would you calculate it yourself? Because that's super difficult. If you guys had to, like right now, take a snapshot of every SwissBorg app user and try to figure out how you could rank it in a fair way, to see who's the best Borger and who unfortunately is less best, how would you do it? I think that's a very, very difficult question to answer. That's something that I struggle with when calculating the voicing power. For me, it was a little bit easier because, well, for the Guardians of the Borg, obviously, as the only thing that we're really focused on is the Borg, then I knew that was mostly my key focus, right? But here it's a little bit more. It's a little bit wider. Julianas is asking, why not two programs that run as parallels? Do you mean, oh yeah, one for AUM and one for engagement? Like basically having two different loyalty scores? I think, yeah. So
I can answer that.
Yeah, go for it.
Simply because the most frequent feedback that we received was about complexity. Complexity in the program itself, in each of the programs that we had and have, and complexity in the whole system. And maintaining multiple programs, I don't believe that that's sustainable on the long term. And you just split the community. We want to unite the community. And for that, this is why again, I'm just repeating myself, want to start simple and build with you guys. Because then if you're doing the votings and we are considering all your say in the concept, then I believe that's much better than just creating a program for every scenario that we can come up with. So that's the kind of approach that we are taking. And I would just like to say one more thing, which was super interesting for me and very much eye-opening. when we did a big survey on the Hero program, and we received hundreds of answers. One key insight that I received from that was the controversial feedback of the program not being conclusive enough, meaning not considering enough engagement type actions that all the participants are doing, but also super complex. So what those who participated in the program would have wanted to see is something really simple, but very conclusive in terms of everything that's happening in the app. And that controversy, what introduces the challenge in designing something that that helps make the app more engaging and helps us reward everyone who participates in a fair and transparent way.
Yeah, I think you're right. In the comments here, we have they said that the only heroes can understand the old hero score system, but because it was outside of the app and too complex. A comment here says, I'm fine with it. Deliver, do forms, get feedback, and implement it quickly. So, one wish, don't develop it after release with the SwissBorg Soon TM speed. If you can guarantee a quick development and adapting it to the voices of the community, I'll give it a try and I'll trust you. You're going to redesign it in an easier and a smoother way than the recent hero score. Yeah, that's nice feedback, I think. Passive aggressive, but nice nonetheless.
My mantra is how we can cut the scope. Yeah, it's kind of it's becoming an internal joke. So I'm all about pushing out something really fast. So as soon as we have some sort of a timeline, we will let you know.
Yeah, that sounds good. And I think the complexity, maybe always better to start super simple, even if it's not the best. And as long as you're transparent with the fact that it will evolve and adapt like you were, that's what I did with the Guardians, right? I started it in a way that was super simple, and then we figured out, okay, maybe that's not the best way to go, and we changed it and we adapted, and it even like we saw that kind of frustration at the same time, not frustration, that we were evolving the program and changing it. And I was writing blogs every 3 months, and you had to read them if you wanted to understand, okay, that's what's happening, that's what's new, that's what's coming. But at least it was like the information was there. So do you want to figure it out and understand it well, then read, and if you don't, then don't. So oh, Marian says he has an idea about how he could do it better. I think Gladly would like to see that in the survey that we're posting. Yeah.
And just one more thing, one huge benefit or opportunity we have with this new concept is that is going to be in the app. So if someone wants to use it, the information will live in the app as well. So we can keep everyone up to date all the time. And that's a huge plus.
Nice. We'll write it up in the survey. Cool. There was two identical questions that were asked at the exact same time. Will Genesis be able to beta test this new functionality?
We can look into that, of course.
Yeah, it's a tricky question. And there's another one. Is the Borger ranking only for alpha vaults?
The exact rewarding mechanism or the exact rewards are still to be discussed. As I mentioned, my goal would be to use the Borger rank for as many things as possible. So alpha votes included. But again, many teams are collaborating on this. So it's not just our team's or my team's decision. So it's still to be discussed. But what we want to achieve is to simplify and make the reward experience much more transparent.
Just maybe let me add one thing is the goal of the loyalty program is obviously to reward people who are loyal and promote the ecosystem. And typically rewards that we might consider offering outside of pure alpha vault access, could be the bet could be that if you're a loyal Borger and you're engaged and you refer people, it's likely that you're going to refer, people that would potentially become also loyal Borgers. So, for instance, offering higher rewards for if you refer new people or stuff like these are highly considered. But again, we are happy to hear your suggestions as well. And by the way, we are fixing the referral program. So we know that it has been not working super well for quite some time. But that's one of the things that we already fixed, at least, I guess, 80, 90%. Maybe there are some remaining stuff to do, but we are already of it, and it's going to improve way, way, way more in the next few weeks, months.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that because I've been referring some people, and I didn't get my my scratchy tickets, François. Huh? I hope they come in the bonuses at the end of the year.
I hear you.
All right. No bots. No, unfortunately. So, expected rollout. Is that something you wanna try to commit to, Yotso?
No, not right now. But
Nice.
as soon as we learn about it and we have some ETA that we are comfortable with sharing, we will share. I
I
don't want to overpromise and underdeliver.
I think I can confidently leak that it will be for 2024. I think that's safe. But yeah, I think that's the way
No,
to
but
go.
sorry, just to reassure you a bit more, because so the hero score was, as you could attest, somehow or very much an ad hoc program that was not, integrated within the app. And we took this feedback very much. But just so you know that now we are assembling and we really have a dedicated product team with engineers working fully on loyalty program. So the pace of development that we used to have in 2023 is going to dramatically change. So I'm not going to commit on a specific date, but you'll see a lot of progress in terms of ability to deliver and iterate on all those loyalty features and program.
Yeah. There was a question here about the once again how the calculation was going to be made. So yeah. Also the board that have to be in app, yes, and we'll share tomorrow two or three ways of calculating the Borger score. And so in the survey, it's a little bit clearer, but we will be requesting that you pick the one that you think fits best and asking why. And then if you have any better ideas, what you think we could be doing better, and this, Yotso, what will you do with all of this data?
So we will read every single person. I personally will read out every single answer next week once we receive it. And then we are going to try to make the most sense of it and make a decision that considers everything that we heard from you. So it's not that we want you to choose A or B. We want to understand your motivations. Why do you like each? Which one do you like more? And then we can make a good decision based on everything that we will get out of this survey.
That's amazing. We're reaching onto the 40-minute mark, and I think that we've gone through most of the questions. One last thing is that there's a tradition in the Smart Talks where I make a giveaway bot spawn in the SB Coffee text channel, and then people have to click it and they can get rewards. Unfortunately, I've tried my best and the bot does not work. So what I'm going to do is that the first 5 people who write hashtag SwissBorg will be getting 25 Borg. 1, 2. Agienas, I'm afraid that doesn't count. Oh yeah, here we go. Cool. All right. So yeah, with that said, I think is there anything that Yotso, François, you'd like to add before we go?
I just want to thank for all the attention and the questions, and in advance all the responses that you will give us. It really helps a lot.
Yes, and on my side, we really heard you out, and within the product team, we are really applying ourselves to be even more present on Discord and the different channels, interacting with the community way more. And we are really listening to your feedback, and we'll do our really best to take them into account and build something that we are all proud of, and that you engage with, and that you feel rewarded to use. And I'm super thrilled to be part of this community. And please keep sharing your feedback. We are listening to them.
Perfect. With that said, I'd like to thank everyone for joining, writing hashtag SwissBorg. A lot of people got it wrong, but I really appreciate the effort. And I'd like to see your comments after the chat. Did you like it? Did you want more? Did you have any more questions? We can relay them. We can get you answers even after this has happened. So thank you for coming tonight. I hope that you learned a lot. I hope that you're looking forward to this. And I'll see you in the next Smart Talk. Bye bye, everyone.